All right, so we have an ARK JETSON we're going to SSH into, and we're going to fix an issue that I saw on the Discord where this user 5555 was saying that his services weren't working in ARK OS. So the issue, and he was running the latest ARK OS as of the making of this video. Um, the issue is that he had another user defined, but he had the default Jetson user. The service is still running. So what we probably need to do is disable the services for the default Jetson, and then just have the services run for our defined user. So I'm going to use Visual Studio Code and SSH in, connect in a new window. And just to show you, the issue that we see when there's multiple users defined. Just won't load the system information. The autopilot be not connected, no connections, and then servers will just be blank. So we'll do a terminal. Let's see, what can we do? He said something about a configure user script. Okay, so that's part of the ARK Jetson kernel. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a grep. Actually, so we're logged in as the Jetson user, and we're going to look at all of these services and see if we can disable some of them. So that doesn't exist. See if we can find them. Maybe they aren't. Okay, so they aren't in Jetson. They're only in their user. So I'm wondering. All right, so let's just do systemctl dash user. So these user services, they're not falling under like root, so they won't run under root. Connection manager. Okay, it's failed connect. So we get this error. It says you need to use machine CTL. or machine. So if we do that, what if we do a restart? Failed to connect to bus. Host is down. Failed to connect to bus. Host is down. Failed to get properties. Host endpoint is not connected. Let's look up. So this looks like it's some kind of issue with the connection manager. Let's try another one. Try another ARK OS service. The RTSP server. Same thing. Okay. How do we disable the login of the Jetson? Let's try that. That's what we want. We could lock the user account, maybe. Oh, we can do no login. Let's try the no login. All right, let's do that. User mod that's been. Nope, just had it. All the way up here. And oh, let's see if I can. That was user no login. Do a pipe left. User Espen no login. Here we go. Okay, so we disabled the login. At least set a user shell to no login. So that user's not going to log in. So let's try it. Account is currently not available. Okay, so let's do a exit and then terminal. Okay, and then something in this install script. Tools install software. Actually, you just open it up in the editor. Very used to not using VS Code. Okay, tools, all software. So we disable the login of Jetson. So it looks like they were doing the ARK Jetson kernel and they did config user. And so I probably went and installed it and I defaulted to, or I used the default, which is Jetson. Okay, so let's try and reinstall it, see. Yeah, well, no, I don't care about that. I do want log loader. Yes, it's upload to, actually, we'll do yes on DDS, no on log loader, yes on RTSP, no on remote ID, no on Polaris. I mean, we already have Jetpack installed, so what the hey, let's try it. So this might take a bit, but I imagine I'm not the only one who's had issues with this when they don't have the default Jetson user. So if we just type in systemd, we might pull up some. So yeah, systemctl for the user is different. I mean, you have to preface it with this dash dash user. And then the systemd services, instead of I think the root directory, etc, and then systemd, it's in the user's home directory in this file path, and it looks like the app folder's in local share, so I can check that too. Make sure that that's working. So we can try that and see if it's all there. But yeah, I think solve this problem to begin with. See, here's the original issue that this guy posted in the Discord. Installing ARK OS, I encounter some issues with the services. For example, Mavlink router daemon keeps restarting, but if I start it manually and .local bin start Mavlink router, that starts up fine. Even though the service file runs, whoops, how come it fails from the daemon? And so DakeJaw responds, it shouldn't. Are you on the latest commit of ARK OS installing normally with install.sh, px4 RGPilot? He goes, yes, on the latest. px4 installing with install.sh. Okay, never mind, I got it. I created a new user instead of the default Jetson user, disabled automatic login for the Jetson. It starts up fine. Actually, scratch that. Even though the service is running fine, the UI is reporting the same as before. Disregard, resetting the flight controller on the UI resolved it. So we're going. We have another user besides Jetson, and that's Savage Robots Orin. So we're going to. Oh, okay. So here's all the errors. Failed to connect to bus. So that's an issue. So all of these services are not running. So keep getting this failed to connect to bus. So this user did not have this issue. What's the environment say? Maybe we need to run the dash dash machine. Oh, okay. So let's try sudo vim. Let's see. Maybe I messed with the SSH config. Oops. What's use PAM? Okay. So it must be an SSH setting where I'm logging in via remotely and it's not working. Okay, so let's try this. So we should have disconnected. And we're restarting. So we're going to try this setting. So something with the XDG runtime and dbus session bus address environment variables are not being set because we had turned off PAM. PAM is probably some security setting. So we're going to try that, right? This is the first. This is the first thing I've found. And so this guy on the Discord might be logging in. So on the ARK Jetson, see if I can pull up a. So we're trying to, while we're trying to reload, see if I can find. So in the ARK Jetson, you have a micro USB console, and some people might be plugged into that. And you can use serial terminal, and that might bypass the issues we're seeing over SSH with the security settings. And then you have a mini display port as well. And then of course you have these USB ports. You have these USB ports on the top, and so you can plug in like a keyboard, mouse, and then you have your mini display port, so you can just plug in a monitor and then log in that way and bypass it that way. Let's try. Let me see if we're back up. Okay, let me do a hard reboot. It's taking a while to come up, but I think that might have been our issue. That SSH setting not allowing the environment variables to set could have been the problem. Obviously, you can bypass it by using the micro USB to your computer and doing serial, or mini display, USB, keyboard, mouse. You're good there. Let's see, back up. Okay, I'm going to pause. All right, and we're back. We're going to do our handy dandy extension in VS Code. We're going to connect a new window. Let's try the UI again. We might have to enable those services because it failed to enable it before. So what we'll probably do is just install the software again, so it just enables all the services. And then we'll see if we get those big errors at the end. Connect. back on a terminal, just do the install.sh. Yeah, we'll do DDS, no log loader, RTSP, no remote ID, no Polaris. We should have already installed Jetpack, but we'll try it again. So SSH deconfig PAM. I wonder if they have a man page for it. All right, let's see if this finally works now that we have PAM enabled. So this is more like a system admin thing. I guess PAM is like a security setting. And so those environment variables just don't get carried over the SSH connection. And that's why. All right, so we're gonna find out. We're gonna see if this fixes it. I'm hoping it does. And so this install software, it's a pretty, it's not that big, but it looks like it installs a lot of the dependencies, a lot of things you need to run the services. So a lot of Python modules. Okay, so, and then you're able to, you know, click on the UI, go to jetson.local, click on this menu at the left, and just go through and configure things like, you can flash the autopilot firmware once it's connected. Okay, looks like I have something. Can we get system information? Boom. Okay. So the issue was PAM authentication. We needed to change that in SSH config. We got it working. RTSP server is up. Can do, let's see. Well, it was up. Not up anymore. Let's see if QGround control or VLC can do something. Let's see, video. One, not two. Wonder if I have these settings wrong. But I used to be able to connect. Let me see if VLC can connect. But let's see. Yeah, it's showing. Yeah, it's showing all the information. This wasn't showing up before, as you recall. So yeah, all of our system information is populated. Our hardware we're running. We're on the Orin Nano. This is our Jetpack version, or Linux for Tegra version. Platform release, basically everything in cat, Etsy OS release, Python version, CUDA packages. Looks like some power stats and temp. Network, and then so our RAM and disk available. So don't know. Might have to reboot for that to work. And then our connections looks good there. This just stores your Wi-Fi. And let's see. See if we can open a network stream. think we are at 5600. Yep. So I remember something about RTSP server not working before, and I think I may have had edited something. Let me see. I think it runs something different. RTSP server. I know I have. Status. User. RTSP server. Okay, so we have an error there. That's why that's not working. It's just with the NV Argus camera. Okay. That's fine. Well, I mean, something works, right? We're getting something. You can view the journal logs. That's not really doing anything. I don't know if this will work. Saying no device connected, no Mavlink, and then we go to services. This Mavlink router kind of goes in and out, like it. Okay. So I think the reason why this fails is because our pipeline, this camera, so this Jetson Orin does not have hardware encoding, and I think NV Argus camera source assumes hardware encoding, and that's why we have an issue. So I have to go through and edit the RTSP server to not run this pipeline, but run something that could work, and that's why that's not working. Mavlink router, I have no clue why it's in and out, but I think we've resolved the original issue of just not being able to get the UI to come out or come to populate anything. So hopefully this helps.